When you're oh wow.
Morning at 9:30. I'm like, hey, I was like 5-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, no.
She's like, I'm okay.
There we go. We good?
Yep. Yes, sir.
We'll call this meeting to order. So welcome to today's special meeting of the Encinitas City Council. We will have a roll call.
Councilmember Lyons.
Here.
Councilmember San Antonio.
Present.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Here.
Deputy Mayor O'Hara.
Here.
Mayor Ehlers.
Here.
Record will show all members of the City Council are present tonight.
And on tonight's special agenda, we have one item. That is to receive a report, a quarterly report, on the fiscal year 2025-2026 City Council Annual Work Plan, second quarter objectives update. And I will hand this over to City Manager Campbell.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Mayor, members of council, and staff. So today we're going to present the second quarter update from the annual work plan. I just want to extend a big thank you to Deputy City Manager Mike James. He is the keeper of this document, and he wrangles everyone in with their updates, so it's really great. Plus, you'll get to hear from him tonight and not me, so that could be a treat. But I do want to thank all of staff. You guys have done an amazing job. In the report, we talk about we have 76 objectives, so that is a lot. And that is on top of everything you folks do day to day and other projects that you have. So just a big thank you to the executive team and all staff for working so hard to make the second quarter updates so fruitful and successful. And I will now turn it over to Deputy City Manager James to take over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor and members of City Council. So just by way of a quick background, the strategic planning workshop that was held in February, that's where this whole process began. That was further refined as we moved further into the year, into March and April, and that's where you really saw the creation of the 6 focus areas with the 9 goals, and again, just like Ms. Campbell stated, the 76 objectives that are being worked on currently every day by staff in addition to their normal daily duties. In October was the first quarter update. And we're going to follow, staff is going to move forward and highlight some of the same flow of the way that we'll present the information, in that within the attachment, you'll see that of the 76 objectives, 59 are green, which means we're on point and accomplishing those tasks. 17 are yellow, which is there's some progress that has been made, but the entire task was not completed. And I'm happy to report that 0 of the objectives are red, which means that no progress was made. And so this will highlight the second quarter objectives. And then at this point, I'll go forward, open up the spreadsheet, and then we can move through each of the yellow highlighted areas. And then I'll touch on a couple other items with more recent updates as we go forward the document, but I will reference the page numbers. So within the agenda and the large spreadsheets that are before you, I'll talk about the page numbers and then try to mirror what you're going to see on the screen as we move forward. Are there any questions at this time?
No.
Okay, seeing none, we will move forward. So
And I assume we have public comment. So did you want to go with public comment now, or were you going to go through on a presentation type format first, and then when you open it up to us, we'll do public hearing, then go to any questions from council, unless they have?
Yes, Mayor. I think there's only 17 items to go forward, so or to highlight, so I can quickly go through that as the presentation and then turn it back over to you to move forward into public comment and the rest of the agenda.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, thank you. So the first item that was noted in yellow is on page 4, and this is part of goal 1.2A. And really, that's listed as the second quarter update is scheduled for February. The date has been pushed back. So that's why it wasn't accomplished and wasn't highlighted in green. Moving a little bit further down, and we're identifying or reassessing the assets, resources, and community involvement in 1.3, and this is B. So the P3, or the pursuit of a public-private partnership, has yet to begin, but that is going to be the next step after the design and permitting phase is completed. On page 5. And looking at 1.5 B and C, this is this is a topic that it's really listing the same thing in the homeless action plan, but talking about two different things. So this is going to be an update that will be provided in February. The first update is really going to be the quarterly report, and that's kind of the metrics. What has happened with the program since it's been implemented? And that'll be summarized within the first piece. The second piece is the actual draft document, or the homeless action plan in and of itself. And that information is going to be presented and requested for feedback and further refinement moving forward. So those items are provided in yellow because we have yet to provide that first quarterly report, but we are actively working on it, and that'll come forward in Q3. And then the next piece is just talking about the RFP process, and again, that's more highlighted in Q3. So morely just being paused as we move forward from second quarter to third quarter, and that's why those two cells are yellow. While it is green, I do want to touch a little bit, just very quickly, on 2.1A, and that's the completion of the Moonlight Beach Force Main Condition Assessment. So originally, this was projected to start today. However, staff is working with the contractor to revise the traffic control plans, and so the revisions are currently under re-review or review, and we anticipate that that work is still going to happen. This is probably going to be better changed to yellow, just because that's going to happen most likely next month. But it is still on track to move forward. Moving forward, page 6, I will continue to scroll through because happily all of those cells are green. And page 7 is you get towards 3.1D. I'm gonna let everybody get there for a second. So there's probably there's 3 activities that are associated with this one topic, and that's involved with the circulation element update. So on the same page, page 7, 3.1D, 3.2A, and C are all really tied together. And so the focus here is that the mobility or circulation element of the general plan really provides that high-level policy framework, right? So it really sits up top. With the recent changes in state law and the impacts that has on circulation elements, those changes should be considered within the current draft, and so that step has to happen next. As a part of that, staff believes it's important that the City Council has the opportunity to do another deep dive into that review and what that really means and how does that best align with the City Council goals and objectives. So with that being said, staff is proposing that as we move forward into not necessarily Q3, because we'll still be doing prep work, but in quarter 4, that staff is recommending that the City Council direct staff to host a workshop to really be able to take that deep dive into the mobility or circulation element. Because as you're looking at, again, that policy framework, from that kind of dovetails the active transportation plan and the complete streets action plan. So those are all sub-pieces to that first update. And you can't move forward with those other plan updates until you get the actual circulation element update. So staff's recommendation here, and would like City Council feedback, is if it's appropriate for us to move forward with that Q4 updates in order to have this deeper discussion. And again, those tie together with those 3 updates.
And to be clear, that's fiscal year Q4 or May, June, July.
Correct.
Or, sorry, March, April, May, June.
Correct.
April, May, June. Okay.
Yes, in any reference to quarters, that is fiscal year quarter.
Okay.
The other item that I wanted to touch on was 3.1E. And this is yellow because staff is currently still moving forward in the evaluation process or the feasibility of placing bike pedestrian routes on streets with speed limits less than 25 miles per hour. So that language staff will clean up a little bit, so it's a little more clear if you're reading through it. But again, that is yellow. We're currently working on it, and staff anticipates accomplishing that moving forward into the next quarter. So moving forward to page 8. While all the items there are green, I do want to touch on a new item or new point of discussion, which will be expanded on a little bit later, was 3.3B. And because there is a deep focus on grants, how do we offset some of the expenditures that we currently have? So as a part of that, staff got together and really started thinking, well, what's the best way that we can do this moving forward? Well, one is, how do we collectively bring together the department heads, the managers of the city, because there's a tremendous amount of brain power here with city staff. How do we get a representative from every department, and in some instances, divisions, multiple people from each department, to come together and form an interdepartment grant group? And so that's what staff has done. We held our first meeting this week. I want to say time is kind of passing quickly here. So we held our first meeting, and we're moving forward with that process really to do one thing, is how do we collectively bring together our goals, which again, department goals focus on city council goals and objectives, to work with a consultant, third-party consultant, to be able to bring their expertise to be able to seek and find grants that will accomplish our city council goals and objectives or the work plan moving forward. So I'll touch on that a little bit later as we move forward through the updates, but I wanted to highlight that because grants is a frequent topic that's being brought up throughout the work plan. So it is important, staff does hear it, and staff is incorporating that into our actions. So moving forward to page 9, 4.3A. Native plant ordinance. So a joint meeting was held, and this presentation is planned to occur now in February. So a little bit of a pause and accomplishing that in Q2, but that'll move forward, and we look forward to accomplishing that in Q3. Page 10. Item 5.2A and 5.3A and B, and this is tied to our climate action plan. And it's all the same update. So again, this will be presented to council in spring, but all of these items are directly tied to the same project. On the next page, page 11, and looking at 6.1A. So the report findings to City Council for direction has been paused just for a moment because the art districts was one of the discussion points. So staff has been actively discussing this, gathering information, and anticipates to share that with the Cultural Tourism Subcommittee in Q3, and then it'll go before City Council after that. On the same page, a little bit further down, 7.1B is exploring the feasibility of a business commission. I think this agenda item has been moving forward. Staff has conducted interviews with firms and is moving forward through the selection process and anticipates that that agreement will be finalized hopefully this week or next week. And then the City Council will see that agreement come before you for approval moving forward. And a little bit further down, same page, page 11, 7.3B and C. Hosting workshops. So the first item, we're still working through that consultant selection process, which is what I just touched on. So that should happen within the next week or 2 weeks with the actual item coming before council, hopefully next month, no later than March. And then the next item is shaded as yellow, and that's because 7 business visits were completed rather than 10. I think that was a lot of it was associated with kind of the holiday break and the period, but staff is looking forward to making those visits up as we move forward into the next 2 quarters. And page 12, 7.4, which the entire item there is looking for partners on grant opportunities. And again, this is just directly tied to, I do want to recognize each of the department heads and the management teams within each department to be able to have an individual attend and participate in these grant meetings. I think that the value of that is you get the very specific knowledge of each department and what the needs are at that time. That subject matter expert is be able to jump into these discussions to go, hey, what are some of the things that you do, consultant, that can help us specifically look for grants? Now, I will back up a little bit when we're talking about grant searching, applying, and also managing moving forward, right? Because the administrative process at some points, some of these grants can be extreme. And it's a big time commitment. And so the consultants that we're working with or working with to interview now all specialize in doing that. And what we're looking for is that experience that they can bring forward. But this, again, is a one group that spans the departments. It doesn't replace kind of the very specific kind of niche grants. So if there's a specific consultant that's in place that focuses on, say, rail projects, there's consultants out there that absolutely just focus on rail improvements, rail crossings. This group won't replace that. That will still move forward, and that's going to be more of a department-specific grant-seeking opportunity where that'll be built more or less into the project budget versus the big picture interdepartment grant is going to be more of kind of the, hey, let's take a step back and look at what other grants that are available that we haven't found yet, and let's see if we can tap into those opportunities. So again, just wanted to touch a little bit more on that, and that it won't necessarily replace some of the specific grant opportunities that are out there to work with a specialized consultant, but we're still continuing to move forward and integrating this into our daily workflow. Staying on page 12, as we continue further down, 8.2A. This is another item where staff would request that the City Council provide feedback, where we're talking about developing recommendations for affordable housing, and that there is additional work that is needed, and that is the economic feasibility study is necessary. Staff has placed a rough cost estimate in there, so if staff, or if the City Council wanted staff to move forward with this, this would have to be something that staff could receive that direction now, and then return at a later date with a report requesting that specific direction, but also the budget allocation to match that direction. And moving forward to page 13, those are all green. So those are on point and on track for the second quarter update. That concludes staff's overview of each of the objectives. And so staff is available for questions, or Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you.
Very good. Any questions of clarification before we go to public comment? If not, we'll go to public comment.
Mayor, we do have two speakers on this item. First speaker is Sandra Anderson, followed by Judy Burlfine.
Good evening. I'm just winging it tonight. I don't have a speech, but I just want to bring up outdoor dining, okay? I don't know, I didn't see it on the list. Maybe it falls in there somewhere. But I just want to remind you or bring it to your attention, or all these staff people here. You probably know, but the AB 1217 is going to expire on July 1st, 2026, is my understanding. And there was a meeting in September of last year where we said, staff said there's going to be community meetings. It has to go to Planning Commission first, then it's going to come to City Council. So I'm just bringing it up because it's like February and we need community meetings. We got to get it to Planning Commission in July 1st. So it needs to be, I don't know if it's on somebody's list, but I just wanted to bring that up because I think the community meetings are going to be really important for this thing. So that's all. Thank you.
And did we turn to the city manager, because I think you have updated information, or the staff does?
Sure. If I could please ask Development Services Director Scott Drapkin to address that, because some new legislation was passed.
You're on.
First time I've been at the podium. Sorry, you guys.
Yeah.
Well, this is odd.
Yeah, it'll come up higher. No, the whole podium on your right by your right hand. There's a button. Yeah, Kathy will help.
I'm okay. It'll hurt to confuse. So, oh, there you go. Thanks. anyways.
Yeah.
There has been a new state law with that. It did make some significant modifications from our perspective. One of the major changes that it modified was the parking requirements that were exempted from the previous law. And what that's done is change the draft ordinance that we had in place, which was, for the most part, ready to roll. And we have to go back to the drawing board. The state law is a little bit difficult to interpret, so right now we're also working with the city attorney on just basically what that law dictates with regards to, and specifically to existing uses that are taking advantage of that parking exemption in the future. But there are some other issues related to it, but that's the major one that we're highlighting.
The deadline got pushed out too, right?
The deadline actually got pushed out indefinitely.
And, okay.
Yeah,
So
at least from a parking perspective.
that's why.
Yeah.
And this is an item that's coming back to us this year. It's not in this plan in front of us. It's a little more tactical.
And we did plan on, with the process, opening it up for public input and doing outreach meetings. So there was those things designed into the process.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I think Judy next.
Good afternoon, Judy Burlfine. There was a little uncertainty around Section 3.1E. I think I'm understanding it correctly now that you're focusing on building bike infrastructure where the speed limit is 25 miles per hour or less, or maybe just less. I support that. I ride my bike as much as possible on the quieter streets. And I want to make sure that we focus on that and that we also remember that to get anywhere, you have to cross a big street unless you want to ride in circles in your neighborhood. So we need to also focus on intersections so people can get from one quiet street to the next quiet street. And there is one line in there that is kind of concerning. Maybe I misunderstood it. It says, this plan policy, this was from the first quarter update, would require amending the ATP to remove a significant portion of the unbuilt bicycle and pedestrian projects identified. So I hope we can get clarification on what is being removed from the ATP of which bicycle projects are being removed. That's it. Thank you.
Okay,
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
That concludes speakers on this item.
Okay. With that, any speakers want to hop in? And what I would propose, if you have any initial comments, go down the line or skip, and otherwise go kind of like Mike did, page by page, if we have any questions on starting with page 4 and going on through. With that, anybody, Councilmember Lyons?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything that's really pressing. I just want to say that I did have quite a few questions of staff that on many of these items that were all addressed really thoroughly. So I want to thank Mike and his team for doing that. And some of it is associated with the clarification that you mentioned that will be upcoming. I did want to go on the record to say a few things associated with how we've captured our work. And so let me start with the item 1.4B. And since Mike was so good about telling us what page that is on, that's on the page 4. Thanks. I think it's important here when we're talking about additional resources, securing additional resources to help provide sources to provide outreach and case management services for coordination with the HOPE team and the County Department of Health and Human Services agencies. I think it's also important to note that as far as securing additional resources, we are working on the grant money that will become available. And we do intend to pursue that money once the notice of funding opportunity becomes available. And I just want to make a note of that because I think that's something we've talked about a lot in the past, and it's been unclear that, what are we doing? Are we stepping up to go after this grant money or not? And so as something we list in our strategic planning that we are beginning to do and intend to do, I think it's important to note that. This is a good place to do that. Whether that actually makes it in this written summary or not, not sure how the city manager will direct staff, but I do want to go on the record of saying that here in the public. And the other point, which is 1.4.c, which is the very next one, we talk about the Buena Creek Navigation Center, which is really important. As far as our achievements, I would love to see our continued support for the Buena Creek Navigation Center identified as something we continue to support. It's a really important, notable, valuable way for us to focus our resources and to help the unhoused. And I think it rises to the level of also being mentioned under item 1.4.c as activity that we continue to support. And then I just had one other comment that I'll bring up at this time, and it is the 9.2.a, which is then, of course, towards the back. It might be the last sheet. 9.2.a. Yes. Make sure I've got the right.
Page 13? Yep.
9.2a, which is, page 17. It's the next to the last.
13, right?
Page 9.
9.2 is 13.
Yeah.
I'm
You
too
may-
far, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, 13? All right, thank you. I jumped ahead. I know that this item has to do with us talking with our regional partners and trying to address RENA reform. And I know that the response that the staff has given is probably the correct official word of what SANDAG says right now as far as RENA reform. However, I have asked the city manager to ask our mayor to report to us, since he's our representative on SANDAG, and he kind of because of that is in the meetings and kind of more privy to what's discussed, to give us an update on what SANDAG is doing, what action they are taking as far as working with the state, HCD, on RENA reform. I know the chair of SANDAG is Mayor Huebner with Solana Beach, and I have conversations with her where there is some more information that when it can be made public, I would love to hear an update on that if there's something, Mayor Ehlers, that could be presented. I think on a staff-to-staff level, when asked what's happening, there's nothing like official to report yet, but I think at the board level, there is some dialogue, and if that's possible to report on that, I think it would be valuable information.
And not only at the board level, but at the working group levels, and you're on one of the Sustainable City, which RENA goes through, and I'm on the lower level, the working group over regional planning PAC, the regional planning group, and so there's work going there too. So it's 3 layers of SANDAG that we're both involved in. So, okay.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to start by welcoming everybody back after the holiday. It's our first meeting back, and we have the staff and a couple of residents, but just want to welcome everybody back. And I think that it's funny that we have Mike doing this, and I think you were one of the only people not here last year during the planning, which is probably a real testament of where we are. But as a whole, the way I look at things when we get to this part of remeasuring before we go kind of cut again in February is we're running downhill on all these projects. I look at, Sylvester Mayberry, he gets the idea of running downhill on these. We're actually actively attacking all of these. to the best of our ability. And I would actually think that some of these aren't actually yellow for the mere fact that they can't happen overnight. So if they're in the process and progress of their destination and they're in the proper progress, they would actually be green in my opinion. But hats off to everybody in this room that has made that able. And I've talked to Jen routinely about this and just couldn't be more impressed as how quick and how fast the team was able to get 76 objectives and get to work on them and really start to create an energy in City Hall that is effective and actually making real change. So I just want to say thank you to all of the people that are making that possible. I'm going to start with page 5. Again, I'm just reiterating some things. 2.1, item C, that's happening tonight. Again, like Mike said, that's impressive that we're getting there. Dan jumps into the seat and immediately the same thing with 2.3A, 2.3D. All of these things that are yellow, these are big things for our city, and it's in the remodel phase of some of the county stuff that's still left over that we're just now at our 40th birthday getting to. And it's impressive to get in within a couple of months and make this happen. So these are big ticket items that I don't want to go unnoticed, as the other 59 are already green. So I'm just giving attaboys and attagirls right now, and I really appreciate it. I'll do 3.1, page 7. To Judy, it was a comprehensive plan. I'm just saying it to everybody. The question was what we're, getting us to streets under 25 miles an hour. The idea here was to get us to a place where we have a comprehensive plan and where there are already streets that exist under the 30 mile an hour, but really 25 miles an hour to get people onto those roads and to readjust our view on pedestrian, bike, and vehicle safety all as a comprehensive plan. And we're doing all those things. So I just wanted to address that. Let's go 3.2. 3.2, Charlie. I'm looking forward to getting to this item, and this is kind of going back to what I just said to Judy, the comprehensive plan and getting back to our circulation element that sets us up not just for where we currently are, because a lot of plans live off of data that was retroactive, and we try to fix the problem that we were just in, creating a future problem that we're not seeing where we're headed. And I think the city's under a massive shift right now. Just with regards to the turnover, the way the city has gone from more of the agricultural background to our business-oriented and transit, more tourist at times oriented model. That's a different mindset. So our circulation element, I think, is going to be in the next year and a half, 2 years, is going to be a very limiting factor for us if we don't take, again, comprehensive views with both, Captain Watts and Chief Gordon, with all of the things included. But this is going to be one of our tickets to success, I believe. We have FIFA World Cup this summer in LA. We have the Super Bowl next year just north of us, and then we have the Olympics in 2.5 years. So there were 30 months, and we're running downhill on a lot of things coming in. And this circulation element and how we operate it and how we run it as a group is imperative, I think. And I think it could actually show us a lot of things in those next 2 years that would last for the duration. So this, for me personally, I think I want to hit this pretty heavily when we get to February 2 and 3. Real quick on 3.3, the grant writing group. I'm just asking Mike and really the directors out here, is this an extra task for our employees? Is this an add-on task that just is?
Yes, absolutely, it is.
And I just want to say that because we're looking for, I think, a couple of things. We're not just looking for grants, we're looking for grants that fit our plan, not grants that we're going to plan to. And so this is an important role that I don't want to throw people at that are either tired or worn out or are already doing too much, because that's who they happen to be in their department. I want to make sure that this isn't something that if they are going to get extra taxed, I don't know if it's a compensation or something that they're doing, but that we can't drop the ball on this one. And so because it's extra, sometimes it could become, I'm asking you the question, I'll let you answer there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Councilmember Shaver, having had our first meeting, which was awesome, I can state that every representative that's a part of this group, their intestinal fortitude to drive, to finish, to create that perfect document is unquestionable. And I think to help balance that, where I see my role or the city manager's office role is to really help and try and do the majority of that legwork. So when information is presented to the think tank, if you will, the decisions are informed and quick and efficient, and they will be based upon the city's work plan.
Got it. And I think this is a great opportunity for those, but again, I know that in certain organizations, you sometimes overtask the already hardworking, and that I think it's a huge benefit for anybody doing this because they'll get eyes on a lot of opportunities as the years go by. But for right now, that's all I have, and I can't say enough great things for where we are, and look forward to February 2nd and 3rd this year.
Okay, I'll hop in here now. I just wanted to recap. I know it's 76 objectives, but let's go back. It's 6 focus areas, and I don't know the exact number, but far few goals. And really, it was the council setting the goals, and the council and the staff directors in particular setting the objectives. And the idea is that we would set goals as a council to get the 5 of us on the same page, and hopefully city manager and everybody else. And then the objectives, the actual objective statements actually came from more the staff and back to us, and we went through them together. And so I'm going to go back to our facilitator that did the session last time. The operative word he had was alignment. And that's what I think we have here. I think we're seeing the fruits of having the council in alignment, writing down what we did, in alignment with the city management, with the directors, and with the staff, and putting it in writing is so important. And reviewing it quarterly like we do, paramount. I mean, this keeps us all on the same page. Now you don't have to worry about the mayor having a bad memory and changing and drifting over here and going somewhere else, or us disagreeing and going somewhere else. We have it in writing in front of us. So the process is working precisely as I had hoped. I really appreciate this update. I see all the work that went into accomplishing what's been accomplished so far. And I hope by keeping on a straight path, or a relatively continuous straight path, that we are saving energy and time and keeping everybody focused on the goals in front of us. I would be remiss if I didn't put in the plug for February 2nd and 3rd for the public to join us for the next goal-setting session for fiscal year 26-27, and 8 a.m. at the community center?
I want to say, I think 8:30?
8:30, okay. Well, be early, 8 o'clock now. 8:30 at the community center. Undoubtedly, we will start out with public input, 8:30, okay. Public input be the first thing on Monday morning, the 2nd. So very good time for interested parties, groups, whatever, to come and speak to us and say, hey, what do we need to do? We're going to start with probably the goals in front of us, continuing and closing out those which we have, and adding any new ones that we miss. So I really, really appreciate this process, and I love it. So with that, what I'd like to do is go down, starting on page 4, and see if we have. Oh, did you have?
Most have comments. I'll have comment.
I don't have anybody on the floor.
Yeah.
Gotta go to the floor.
It's okay.
There you go.
All right. So I just wanted to go through some numbers on this. Very simple to start off with. And before I do that, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that we had Karen here, who finished the marathon this past weekend. I was out of the course. We were putting it on, and they gave him applause for 26.2 miles this weekend.
Wow.
It was amazing to see you out there. It was it caught me off guard, and I was so stoked to see you finish. So congratulations. All right. So some other numbers besides 26.2. There's 76 items I think you said on here, Mike. And we're only like 14 or 15, I believe, are yellow. And so that puts us over 80% on target. And of that 20%, where we're a little, it's actually less than 20% if you do it out, but of that less than 20%, where, in the grant world, you talk about success in grants, when you give it forward, it's like 30%, 50%. We're over 50% complete on most of these things on here. And that's not attributed to the people up here, it's to everybody down there. And so we appreciate your hard work in making these goals come to fruition. That said, Jennifer, the first meeting we had where I think Luke and I were there in your office, what did he ask you?
What are the top 3 cities in California?
That's right. I think this shows that we are headed towards the top 3 cities in California, that direction we're trying to get to. And I think as you head towards the top 3, to be the top 3, you think how much higher we can go. And so I think for my first year here, it's incredible to see us make this much progress. I attribute it all to staff's hard work, collaboration of the council, city manager, and of course our resources. And most importantly, I still think we have the number one alignment, which is the alignment with our residents. And so it's all working together in synergy, and I'm very appreciative and grateful for that. So thank you to everybody for this report.
Okay, with that, let's go to page 4. And are there any comments on 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, moving on down? I have 1.4A if nobody's got anything there. On the Prop 36, and I don't know whether city manager can answer this or whether we need Captain Watts. Do we have obviously the sheriff can arrest, can take care of Prop 36, but it really comes down to the county being able to address the mental health and the county being able to prosecute. Now, I've gotten some updates at various meetings from the district attorney, but do we have any update on how it's going as far as cases we have going through the system? Because we can only do the front end here locally. So we'll bring Captain Watts up. In other words, is there anything we can help you with?
I appreciate the question. Prop 36 gave us the opportunity to hold those individuals that are committing crimes, the qualifying crimes per Prop 36, that we can actually book them into custody and hopefully get them resources through the county and through the district attorney's office by holding them accountable. Crime and usually what we're seeing is on the larceny side, crime is down, larceny itself is down, which I contribute some of that to Prop 36, and we're seeing less repeat offenders. But it really has been a good tool for us to hold those accountable that are repeat offenders for those qualifying crimes. And really, the ultimate end goal of this is that they get the resources. A lot of times they're committing these crimes because there's some addiction issues and other contributing factors. So as we're seeing the decrease and the less of repeat offenders, I would say that Prop 36 is being successful.
Okay, and are we seeing the resources for like the treatment on the drug court end, and are the drug courts beginning to enforce it? It sounds like from I think you and I were both at a meeting with Catherine Blakespeare and Summer Steffens and a lot of law enforcement there, and I thought the results were looking good. They probably always need more funding, though.
And I think that's that is what we're finding out on the state side is the funding to continue those resources.
Yeah. So we need to continue pushing for that and lobby towards that. It's not our funding; it's really state and county funding to make this even more effective. Correct. To help get cures for the people that are Prop 36 multiple reoffenders.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's see. I have to say something about the item 1.4B. The San Diego Rescue Mission is doing an outstanding job, and I think the report you gave the other day about what they had done in their first month was just outstanding.
I have another report tonight in my city manager's report.
Okay. You don't want to tell us
Did it
right
wait
now?
that long?
Yeah, do we have to
Okay.
wait?
I can. I actually
Yeah,
have it in my
please.
binder. Okay,
Please-
hang on.
please do.
Okay, here we go. So this is, of course, from our wonderful development services staff, Patty Anderson, Crystal Pugh. So just wanted to give an update on how San Diego Rescue Mission has done as of today. The San Diego Rescue Mission has helped or made contact with 98 unduplicated individuals by using the by name list. So they've made contact 98. Now remember, they only started at the end of November. 38 placements have been made. These are not duplicate placements as well. So of the 38 placements, here's where folks have gone. 14 have gone to the BCNC, which is amazing. That's our partnership with Vista. 5 have gone to the South County Lighthouse. 4 have gone to the Mission Academy. 7 have gone to the East County Transitional Living Center. 2 have gone to detox facilities. And 6, this is great news, family reunification. So they were put back and made contact with their families. So again, amazing work from San Diego Rescue Mission. And also just because Captain Watts is over there at the staff desk, talking with San Diego Rescue Mission, they are very much enjoying working with your 2 HOPE teams. They have said nothing but wonderful things. They've said that you work with individuals that are unhoused and homeless with a lot of compassion and care. And although you may wear a uniform, that's not what comes through when you are out there. So they are extremely happy to be working with the San Diego Sheriff's Department. I really wanted you to know that, Captain Watts, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Anything else on page 4, page 5?
Page 5, yeah.
Yeah. And item 1.4C is has to do with, again, San Diego Rescue Mission. One thing I would like to see in a future report, in the quarterly report, much like we asked for the safe parking lot, I want to see the nightly bed count history on the Buena Creek Navigation Center from inception. So the year and a half we've been, I guess, year and a half now we've been running it. Reason I'd like to monitor that on a quarterly basis and see it by night is to know whether we have the capacity, whether we're under capacity, and how often do we saturate and hit our full bed count. So for a future report, I think that would be helpful as part of this reporting. Anything on the by name list, or that was quarterly reports? We talked about homeless action plan. Moving on to 2.1, goal 2.
I just have 2.2A.
Oh, sorry.
And Alex just took this over this year, and I'm impressed that we got a 20% bump up through the QR codes and pushing it. Is this a continuous goal to the ultimate goal that we had set up, or is this just a 1-year snapshot as to where we are?
So if you look actually, so what it says here is the team with the city manager's office launched the My Encinitas information on the My Encinitas TV channel, as well as on social media. So these efforts, we've actually had a 30% increase since the start of July 1st. Wow. Yeah, so we're continuing to do that. We're also going to look at some different marketing tools with the app and looking to make sure that people can download them. We did a couple nice videos that teach people how to do that as well. So we will continue those efforts, and those efforts go a long way. I think we've got Kieran and Jess are at the staff table. I think they'd like to share something.
Oh, sweet.
So this is just a graphic to kind of show where we're at. So the numbers, we've exceeded what we were looking at for this time. 108 is kind of the magic number we check for monthly. We've been above that every time. So our actual is 789 new devices is what we're using as our metric, and that's what we've been doing since we tracked before. Our goal pace would be to be at 648 right now, and at the previous fiscal year, it was 641. So we're on track, we're exceeding it, and it looks like right now we've hit about 30% increase.
Phenomenal. I think this is kind of goes back to kind of a circulation but in communication model. I just, again, on top of it, I think this is a critical time where the world is right now with communication. I think this is a very simple and more direct way to get real information to the people that want it without having to have all the confusion of, there's so many channels now. There used to be 12 channels in UHF, and you didn't have choices. Now there's, too many choices, and we don't have the confusion in communication. This is just I think a critical vulnerability in our city, and a center of gravity, which is a different term, but for us to benefit from if we do this right. So I want to thank everybody for doing this, and thank you, Karen, for the update.
And Councilmember Lyons.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Schaefer. I agree with you. This has been really good work as far as our communications group. And I want to just reemphasize that we're just starting, so I think we've got a long way to go. And as I think about we're just starting and we're seeing what we've done so far, I think about we're about ready to do our strategic planning. So what I would like to ask our city manager to pay attention to and bring forward to us is, as we're developing our communications plan, I'd like for us to be really specific about what it is that we need based on what our experiences have been so far. We like to kind of test back. We've done this now for, I think you've been with us less than 6 months. But what are we achieving, and how can we measure the value to the city? I'd like for us to get mature in this communications program so we know better what we're doing, how much it costs, and where we have the most value. I think there's few things that are more valuable than communicating to our constituents about what the city's doing. So it's a very important element of what we do here at the city to me, and I'm pretty sure it is to everybody. So as we look at our strategic planning coming up, this hasn't so much to do with what we've got listed here today, but as we're looking at it coming up, where are our needs, and are there any budget requests associated with it? And I just want to kind of add on to that a footnote that I know Pacific View Arts Center is one of the things that the city is working on and achieving and moving forward, and it's included in all the communications. It's one of the things we're putting out there to the public. I know we're going to evolve our thoughts on how we promote that, and I suspect it's going to be a different kind of promotion than the city usually does. It would be more like, we're promoting like a nonprofit would promote, about the opportunities for artists to come here and teach, and for people to come and take classes, a hub for arts in our community. We might want to consider looking at additional funds for launching that more of a branding or more of a traditional development, like business development program for Pacific View as it matures over time. I think that will come out of some of the work the Arts Commission is going to present to us early in 2026. I think maybe in February or March. And so we'll get clearer on that this year, but that's a new thing for us I want to highlight that's important. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else on page 5? If not, move to page 6. Any comments on page 6? The PCI results are outstanding, and all the paving on that would be item 2.3B. See the PCI up at 75, and I had so many comments from the repaving on Leucadia Boulevard in Birmingham. Oh my goodness, it was wonderful. It's good to get good news. So I don't see anything else. I think the updates are all great there. Moving on to page 7. I think we talked about the circulation element update. Do you have something, Jim?
Yeah, I think if we were to look at our year in review, something that we've talked about circularly and not really accomplishes as much as I'd like to see have accomplished, it'd be the one thing would be the circulation element. I feel like we've gone round and round and round about it up here. And it seems to be a little bit, there's not one spot where we've put it we can wrap our head around. So I'd really love to see us really take all of these pieces that we're doing really well here and figure a way to mesh them together to a better message and a clearer message. Because I think we have a lot of discussions of different pieces of it that are separate. And I really, a lot of the ideas and a lot of the pushes and a lot of different discussions up here aren't reflected in what I currently see when I read the circulation element. So that would be my only criticism of this entire report. I don't even know if it's criticism, it's just a desire to kind of make it an improved product.
You talking about the report or the circulation element?
Circulation element.
Yeah. Well, and we'll have an opportunity on the second and third to update these, add to these, anything we think we missed, because I have a list, not a huge list, but
I haven't seen the circulation element come to us at all.
yeah.
And it's been something I know that I've requested. I know Councilmember Schaefer has requested, and it hasn't come to us. It'd be the only thing I have in this entire report that I would really like to see a little more urgency on, because we have so many things that we've discussed already that have become conflict in the city because we haven't been clear on that circulation element. Santa Fe, for example, there's a lot of different trains of thought, and if we made it clear what we're trying to do, that might not be the case. And I don't want to dive into Santa Fe, but I just want to, it's just as an example.
Yeah. Well, and I think staff's response in this report echoes what you just said.
Yeah.
We can't do ATP until we get the updated circulation element in place. So I think going forward, we make it a high priority to do exactly that.
Agreed.
You know, I don't want to devolve into a circulation element discussion here and now tonight, because
No.
we probably violently agree on what it needs. So, yeah. So, anything else?
I just want to elevate it up there in the discussion of importance.
Let's see, on 3.2B in the status, it talked about staff anticipates Sandag to announce grant recipients in January. I thought, is that different than the middle column where it says we received the notification of the grant? Or is that, I'm trying to figure out, are we talking about an additional grant, or is that just kind of a misquote?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. Dan Nutter, Director of Engineering. So for that grant, the Smart Growth Incentive Program grant with Sandag, that was provided by Sandag on a tentative basis last calendar year. They are going to, this Friday, do their finalized vote to finalize the selection. So we have been told by Sandag that there
Okay.
are no changes from the vote that took place and the characterization of the selection from last year. But it's
Okay.
going to be formalized Friday.
Okay, I can explain more. And I think we talked about this at one council meeting, but this is where they discovered they made an error in their math in their Excel spreadsheet.
So-
And there had been an announcement at a subsequent Sandag meeting that it did not change the results. So I think they tentatively told us you're
Yeah,
good.
so that's exactly correct.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that it didn't change the results for the entirety of all selectees, but for the city of Encinitas, it did not change the results.
It didn't change the outcome of what got funded. Interestingly enough, I believe it increased the score of our other project, which was the Olevenheim Trail 82 funding, but Trail 82 did not then make it over the threshold.
Correct.
So, and Trail 82, a thing to note, La Costa Pedpath and Trail 82 scored very similarly. It was just a slight difference. So the threshold went right between the two of them.
Yeah,
And part of that probably had to do with regional scoring, that they were trying to be fair and distribute equitably and geographically throughout the county.
Yeah, it's hard to know exactly some of the thought process when they're doing their selection, because it is a point system and
Yeah.
matrix, but I would venture to agree with you, Mr. Mayor, exactly that.
Okay. Anything else on page 7? Moving on to page 8. I have something on the grant team. I'd just love to see the process brought forward and an item agendized for the council to look at and so the public could understand. I think this is a huge opportunity, as others have set up here. I would also encourage staff to contact the grant writer coordinator in Davis, California. This is where this item came out of. I had a wonderful discussion with her. She's very helpful, and I can get you contact info. I think, Mike, you called it a think tank. It's a think tank and an action coordinated team. Don't be shy. This to me is something, if you need something for that team to augment it, make it better, let us know. We don't want you saying no, as our city manager always says. You have to make the ask of us, and it's up to us to say no if we think it's too much. But this is a lever point that could very, very much increase funding on critical items that we are trying to do. So
I'll follow up on that. I think that's actually huge. Having read this report, one of the things I did notice was Encinitas ranked in Tier 2 for future NCTD plus deployment. And I believe recently NCTD changed their bylaws due to requirements. And so I'm not sure that we would fall out of that tier anymore, and it might be worth re-examining. Just with
would that move us to Tier 1, you mean? Or is that what you're potentially?
It may take us out of, it may take some of the reasons we're not a viable or first pick. It may reduce those reasons and create a more level playing field that we have a chance to take activation on.
Cool. Okay, anything else on page 8? How about page 9? Let's see, page 9. Somehow I'm on the wrong. Okay, nothing on page, anybody?
I guess I'll just add, since you're kind of soliciting some input here, there is the item about the California Wildlife, the funding, additional funding, pursue grant opportunities for open space acquisition. This is under 4.1E. And there's an opportunity, it appears, to connect with the Wildlife Conservation Board, the California Wildlife Conservation Board, who might be interested in helping us with some funding for our habitat stewardship program, and honestly, who knows what else. So I really want to encourage staff to continue with that dialogue. It's really good news, and I've also asked for an update on it, so keep me informed. But it's a specific focus that's very important to us, and I think to a lot of our constituents, to manage our open space and steward our open space. And if we can also look at it from the perspective of, can we get some funding to augment so that we can look at additional acquisitions, then, and that's what this item actually says, acquisitions, so I don't want us to forget that. I know it's a hard nut to crack, but this is good news, so I'm optimistic.
Okay, great. Let's see, moving on to page 10. Hang on. I just have, on the SCOOP program, I had one question about making sure we are moving forward on getting whatever SCOOP permit we need for Beacons Beach North, because they are not part of the USACE every 5 years update. And I'd like to be able to put opportunistic sand at Beacons to help keep that walkway, the path down, keep it covered with sand and therefore stronger and more resilient against storms. So, like for instance, tonight we have a SCOOP request, and it's being placed north of Beacons because we don't have an active current permitted SCOOP permit for Beacons. We'll talk more about that unit, but I want to make sure part of our plans is to move forward getting that. So.
Yes, Crystal Nahara, Sustainability Manager for the city. And the quick answer to that is yes, we are working on that. We're working on amending our scoop permit to expand the areas that we can add sand to our beaches. And one of those areas that we're looking at is the Beacons Beach area. We're also working to coordinate with Sandag so we can expand it through the RBSP3 process as well.
Excellent, thank you. Page 10, I don't see anybody. Going to 11. I had one on 7.2A, and that is the business permits. I wanted to make sure that that included entitlement permits through the planning department and planning permits, because boy, I'll tell you, I get so many complaints about that. I'm sure you do too. Yeah. So just want to make sure we're really clear that it's the entire process. I know I've probably talked the Port Planning Department's ear off about this, but I want to make sure it should be reflected in this. And to the degree I need to, we'll get it updated on February 2nd and 3rd into the next year's cycle too. Anybody else?
I would just agree with you and echo that I think that's part of the alignment process with our residents. That's probably because individual homes are about where the city is in state and management. So there's a lot of remodeling happening right now, and it's a known stressful situation to have to work with the city of Encinitas. And so, not to take away from that, was intentional for so many years. So there's a little bit of undoing a knot that we self-created over decades. So anyway, appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Anything? Oh,
I just want to echo that as well. I mean, I've definitely heard that on my end. People come by the shop to talk to me about just random stuff, and that's one of the many random things that people will talk to me about is permitting, the process, whether it's business, whether it's the building. So yeah, if we can keep that streamlined, that would be great.
moving on to page 12. I have nothing on 12. Anybody? Jim?
Just 7.4A. I've heard a lot of great things back from staff based on all of the uses of AI beyond grant writing. And I want to encourage staff to continue to use the tools, but also let us know what you need to augment you further and help you out. And if there is something you need, city manager's door is always open, but I'm sure all of us are all ears too. Whatever we can do to continue to help you with not just grant writing, which I think we're doing a great job. I see us working harder on grants than all the time. I'm just going to say all the time and leave it there. I think we're doing a great job at that, and I want to see us continue to do better. So if there's something you need, please let us know. We'll get it for you.
Okay. On 8.2A, which would be increasing affordable housing, one area, and maybe this goes in next year's, I don't know if this got covered here. I would love to review our ability to manage the allocation method for low-cost units. We've seen a lawsuit over past projects on how they were being allocated. I have talked to other municipalities that handle it differently, have more control over it. And if this isn't part of this one, I will definitely be bringing it back up for February 2nd, 3rd. Moving on to last page, page 13. I have nothing. Anybody else? That was the all green page.
Well, turned it off.
Anything? Yeah.
I think we're going to talk about it.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I just wanted the RENA number and the reallocation is as we go into, 28 is not far away, and understanding that where are we, and that's more for you, I guess, Bruce. Is there any? I know this is a staff item, but where are we with the RENA?
I mean, there's been no formal action taken. The action that Sandag has taken has been to object to Sandag, or it's through HCD through Sandag.
Yeah.
But certainly the methodology of how the state will allocate to the county, that's going to happen. That's out in the 2027-28 timeframe.
Correct, okay. All right, thank you.
And I'm going to hand this over now to the city manager.
Thank you. So again, just big thanks to Mike for all that work in the spreadsheet. And again, thank you so much to staff. What you do is noticed, it's appreciated, and your hard work is evident through this work plan and everything you do every day. But I do want to thank council. Thank you so much. The comments we heard today, how refreshing and wonderful. What do you need? Come to us. Tell us what you need. What can you do more? Again, all the kudos, thank you, because your opinion and your thoughts mean so much to us and staff. So it's just really nice. And to echo the alignment, it's really nice to see the alignment, and it's nice to see us all working together to achieve the same goals, to make our city the best city in California. So thank you very much to council for all of your support, keeping us on track, staying to this plan. It means a lot to us. So it's really nice to have a meeting like this and to see everybody working together and to see smiles on faces and to get some accomplishments. And it doesn't mean we can't improve or work harder, but it's very nice to hear. So thank you.
Yeah. With that, if there are no other further comments and staff doesn't want to say anything, it sounds like we are.
Mayor, I do have two points of clarification.
I wasn't fast enough.
2 points of clarification. So if I may, and I think this is what I heard, so I just want to confirm that the direction for the circulation element will be discussed when we meet in February, and that will include staff's recommendation to move forward with that workshop, because it will take us at least that third quarter period to be able to build that robust model for City Council, provide that best feedback. And then second point is for the additional economic feasibility study on item 8.2A. It sounds like that was for affordable housing. That's also going to be something that will be brought up during the workshop because that's just a budget request and allocation, also staff's resources. So I just wanted to highlight that, make sure I'm getting the north-south, and then staff will continue forward with that. So thank you very much for your time.
Jim, did you want to? You look like you're ready.
I thought he was going to ask for a sing-along, but no, I just, so I think, I don't want to dwell on it, but I think one of the things we are, the reason with the circulation element and the push towards that, just to be clear, is I think want to make sure that we're operating on a plan that reflects the direction of the city currently and isn't on a 3 or 4 year plan. Or older plan. And so that's really just the push for it. But I know staff is working hard at it, and I just wanted to reiterate it publicly to make sure that it is a priority for those of us who are wondering.
Okay, and with that, we are adjourned. See you. Yep, thank you. Awesome.